Hey everyone, Grant here, and this is the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and this is the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now, if you're new to the channel and you like smartphone camera comparisons like this, then please consider subscribing to the channel, as I do plan on continuing to upload more content like this on a regular basis. And for those of you who are already subscribed, your support is always appreciated. Now with that out of the way, the Pixel cameras have always been known to be one of the best point and shoot cameras for photography, and their video quality has been steadily improving year over year. Well, I would say the Samsung cameras have always been one of the best overall camera systems, with a very solid main camera that tends to boost the colors a bit, which people either like or not. And it tends to always have one of the best long-range zoom cameras with their periscope zoom lenses. And their video quality tends to be a little bit better than Pixel year over year. But will that trend continue here in 2024? We'll find out with all the photos and videos. And I've tried to go to different locations here in California, from Oakland to San Francisco to even Google headquarters, to get shots of the latest Android statues. So take a look at all the photos and videos and drop me a comment and let me know which one you prefer. So here's a rear camera video test on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. As you can see, I am actively recording with both the rear-facing cameras. And I'm starting out with the ultra-wide-angle camera on each here at 4K, 30 frames per second. And so this is the ultra-wide camera again, like I said, side by side. So I'll just pan around, give you a feel for what that ultra-wide looks like. And I'm here at this Pink Salt Lake to give you a better view than I normally do. Better colors. So again, more of a pinkish, purplish kind of color in the lake. A lot of the blues in the skies. So let's go ahead and move into 1x on the Pixel and the main lens also on the S24 Ultra here. So you can see what that looks like side by side. I'll just pan around to give you a feel for what it looks like when panning. All right, we'll test out the zoom here on each. So we can go to a 3x. This should be optical here on the S24 Ultra. You saw it snap in. And we can move into a 3x digital here on the Pixel. There we go. So you can see side by side. Telephoto on the Samsung and digital zoom here on the Pixel. They both have a 5x telephoto, so that's on the Pixel. And let's go to 5x on the Samsung. So you can see what that looks like side by side. And again, the picture doesn't quite line up, so I'm just going to tilt it so you can see the birds about the same place in frame here. And let's go ahead and move into, let's go ahead to try 10x here on the Pixel. Digital zoom there. Let's go 10x here on the Samsung. See what that looks like side by side. Again, sorry, I'll just tilt the camera so they both are actually kind of have the birds in frame there. And they both have a max 20x digital zoom here. So there we go on the Pixel, and let's go max zoom here on the Samsung. So that's what max 20x zoom looks like there on each. And let's go ahead and back them both out to the main lens. So Pixel and S24 Ultra. And let's go ahead and pan around this way so you can kind of see what it looks like with some different coloring, as well as shooting directly into more direct sunlight there, what that does to the exposure and the picture quality. And you can see some of the more browns and greens from the marsh here. And I'll just go ahead and start walking so we can have stabilization side by side at 4K. And I'll try to stress out the stabilization by jogging here. So there we go, 4K 30 frames per second video on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Galaxy S24 Ultra. Let me know what you think about this footage. So here's an 8K 30 frames per second test on both the S24 Ultra and Pixel 9 Pro XL. I'm using Video Boost on the Pixel, so we can compare what it looks like here to the standard 8K 30 frames per second on the Samsung. And interestingly enough, I think the Pixel records the base video here at 1080p, and then in the cloud, it'll upscale and boost the video up to what it claims is 8K. But just want to give that a try here and compare that to Samsung's 8K 30. So you can see here what side by side what that looks like. And again, I'll just pan around. Actually, let's go ahead and try to test some zoom. I think we're going to 5x on the Samsung at 8K. So there we go, 5x on the Samsung. And similarly, I think we go, no, we can't actually zoom in here on the Pixel. So just note, if you're going to use 8K Video Boost on the Pixel, you can't actually zoom in. And we'll go ahead and pan around this way, just to give you a feel for what it looks like filming into more direct sunlight, as well as get some of those greens and browns coming off of the marsh there. So let me know what you think about the standard 8K 30 on the Samsung versus the 8K video boosted video here on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So here's another rear video test on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and S24 Ultra. This is the artificial background blur effect. So this is portrait video on the Samsung and blur video on the Pixel. So I'm outdoors in the afternoon light with the sun shining directly in front of me. So this is the best conditions outdoors for this effect to work. And so let me know what it looks like and how it's holding up here. And so I'll pan around so you can see how it's holding up into the changing lighting conditions. So now the sunlight is directly coming in from my left, and now it'll be directly behind me here. So let me know what you think about this artificial background blur, how the edge detection is working on me, and what it looks like in these conditions. And so I'm just going to start walking so we can see how this effect holds up with a bit of movement here. I'll just jog a little bit so you can see what it looks like with a little bit more movement. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what this effect looks like here outdoors if you want to use it on your particular phone. So here's a test of the super steady stabilization on the S24 Ultra and the active stabilization on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now in these stabilization modes, the Samsung can record up to Quad HD resolution and the Pixel is limited to 1080p. So I'm just walking, holding these two phones in front of me so you can see what the stabilization looks like at a regular pace. I'll start to jog so we can stress out that stabilization and see how steady they can keep the cameras here. So there you go, just a quick test of the super steady stabilization on the S24 Ultra and active stabilization on the Pixel 9 Pro XL.
Let's go!
So here's some front-facing camera footage from the Pixel 9 Pro XL, as well as the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra in 4K 30 frames per second. So first thing off the bat, you'll notice that the Samsung is more cropped in for that stabilization, while you get a little bit more wider field of view on the Pixel. And on the Pixel, you can actually change that. You can zoom in a bit. So it's about the same crop size right now on both. And I'll back that out here on the Pixel so you can see what that looks like here again in full 1x frame. And so I've got audio enhancement on the Pixel, so you can compare the audio on both these phones and what they're sounding like from this front-facing camera. And right now the sun is coming down straight in front of me, so it's directly shining upon me, so you can see what that looks like here. It should be exposing properly because of that. I'll pan around so you can see what this does in the changing light conditions here, and as I point directly back into the sun back that way, what that starts to look like, and if that's affecting any of the exposure or picture quality here. As you can see, I'm outdoors. That's a pink Salt Lake back there. It's kind of pinkish purplish, so you can see what that looks like here as far as color on both these phones and what it kind of looks like versus what it maybe should look like. And we'll go ahead and test the stabilization. So I'll just walk this way so you can kind of see what that looks like here on both these front-facing cameras. I'll just jog a bit to try to stress out that stabilization and see what that looks like here. So there you go, some front-facing footage on both the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Galaxy S24 Ultra in 4K 30 frames per second. So here's a low light video test of the rear cameras on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Galaxy S24 Ultra. This is the ultra wide angle lens to start out on each at 4K 30 frames per second. I'm just panning around to give you a feel for what the ultra wide looks like here side by side. And what you'll know is the Pixel has that wider field of view with this ultra wide. And we'll go ahead and move into the 1x on both, so main camera on each. Again, I'll pan up into those trees so you can see a little bit more definition with the wider sensors on the main lenses there. You can get more definition against that dark sky background. And then pan over to this really bright light to see how both these cameras do with some intense bright light there. And pretty much any camera is going to flare that out. So let's just go pan around this way and we'll just start walking so we can test stabilization. as well as check out some different lighting conditions. So that was some pretty bright light there. We're moving into a little bit less light here as we walk around this corner. There'll be another really bright light again, so you can see how the camera handles changing light conditions here at night. You can see that really bright light again right there. And we'll just stop here and we'll pan up into the night sky so you can see how it handles that. And looks like at least they may be trying to brighten up the scene a little bit, so there might be some noise here, but it may come out different once the video is processed. I'll just pan down this way into this alleyway, which is a combination of the really bright light coming off the right and this darker area here, so you just to see more of a mixed lighting situation. So there's a quick 4K sample here in low light for both phones. So here's a quick night sight video test on the Pixel 9 Pro XL compared to the standard 4K video on the S24 Ultra. So this is the main lens on each. There's no ultra wide angle lens option if you're using night sight video on the Pixel. And so you may want to zoom while using this, maybe at a concert. So let's go ahead and try out some zoom and see if it'll clean up the zoom in post. So let's go into a 5x telephoto lens there. It's really noisy in the viewfinder because it is dark at night. So we'll see if night sight will clean that up, and let's see what it looks like on the Samsung here. So viewfinder looks pretty dark on the Samsung, but not nearly as noisy. And we'll back it out to the full one time frame there, and we'll pan around and we'll start walking. So we can see if night sight's any more stable, if it cleans out any stabilization, if it cleans up any kind of micro jitters that are coming up in low light here or not. And again, how that compares next to the standard 4K video on the Samsung. And of course, as we round this corner, there's a dark or the really bright light again. And we'll pull up here because we've got the sprinklers going off now, but I'll just point it down here in this alleyway and actually up into the night sky so we can see what that looks like, if it's going to clean up some of the noise or not on night sight video. And we'll pan down here again so get a bit of half and half mixed lighting situation there. So that's a quick test of night sight video on the Pixel against the standard 4K video on the Samsung. So here's a quick front-facing camera test in some low light on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Galaxy S24 Ultra. This is being shot at 4K 30 frames per second. And off the bat, what you notice is that the Pixel has a wider field of view. We can fit more into the frame than the Samsung right now. And when I'm seeing the viewfinders, the Samsung is actually coming off a little bit warmer in color temperature than the Pixel is. But on the Pixel, you can also crop in a little bit. So if you want a tighter field of view, you can get that at 1.4. So let's go and tap in. So there you go. You can crop in a little bit closer to what you're seeing on the Samsung. But let's move back out so you get the full frame here on the Pixel. And as you can see, I'm outdoors in some pretty good lighting, so you can see what these cameras can do with some fair bit amount of light, as well as some really bright street light behind me that you can see how that's doing into the camera and how it's affecting the picture quality here. But I'll just start walking to test the stabilization so you can see what that looks like here side by side on both phones, as well as we'll go into a little bit of a darker area here. So there's a little bit less light in this area, but we'll move back around this way. This way we can get one last pan around this way so you can see how the cameras perform with a bunch of bright street lights behind me. And let's go back into this little bit darker area so you see how that handles in this lighting situation here side by side on both these phones. So do let me know what you think about this front-facing camera quality side by side. Which one do you prefer? It's going to be tough in low light for pretty much any smartphone front-facing camera anyway. And also let me know what you thought about the full comparison here between the Pixel 9 Pro XL and Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra cameras. Let me know which one you thought performed better under what scenarios, and which one you would prefer to use on a day-to-day basis to take your photos and videos. And if you have any other questions or comments that I can help you answer, drop them down in the comment section. I'm always willing to answer whatever I can down there and engage more in the comments. So let me know what you thought about the video, and as always, thanks for watching.